Hello everyone, welcome back. So I found this quiz online. It's called the Common Sense Quiz, and it's a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to see how much common sense I've got, and you can watch along with me and see if you can answer these questions yourselves. So if you're ready, let's do it. This is the Common Sense Quiz. So let's have a look at question number one, shall we? So this is question number one. It says, C is the father of D, but D is not the son of C. How is that possible? Okay, and there's the four answers. D is C's daughter. So we need to work out who D is. I think top left there, where it says D is C's daughter. So so I think it's top left. Oh, hello, Adam. Oh, it's Ordinary Adventures. Hello. Sorry about that. That's one of my notifications. Yeah, so it can't. Yeah, the clues is the top left there, straight away. So C is the father of D. So D is the daughter, but D is not the son of C. C is D's uncle. No, that can't be right either. Both are brothers. No, they're not. So, and then they are not related. We can eliminate that. Yeah, the clue is top left. D is C's daughter. So C is the father of... Yeah. How is that possible? So the answer is that one. Yay! That's correct. D is the child of C. If C is not D's son, she must be D's daughter. Yeah, common sense. Okay, that's the first one. Yay, 1 out of 1. So we go. Question 2. Before Mount Everest was discovered, what was the highest mountain on Earth? Before Mount Everest was discovered, what was the highest mountain on Earth? Right, well, common sense, which is what this quiz is all about, tells me that even though it wasn't discovered, it was still there. Therefore, Mount Everest has always been the highest mountain on Earth because the land mass was obviously still there. So it's kind of a trick question, that one. It's because the land mass has always been there. It's just that nobody had discovered it was there. So the answer is the same as Mount Everest. So I'm going to go for Mount Everest. Yay! That's right. Okay, so we go to the next one. Okay, be honest. How many of you were actually overthinking that one, or maybe you got it right? If you got it right, congrats. So question number 3. Let's do it. Here we are. This is question 3. What is the world's most populous country? United States, India, China, or Russia? Right. So population. It's a process of elimination, isn't it? So the only two that stick out for me there are India and China. I know it's not Russia, and I know it's not the United States. I was tempted to go for India just now, but I think China just pips it. It's close, but I think China, for me, is the one. So I'm going to go for China on that one. So, yay! It's correct. But I was tempted to go for India at first until I saw China. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Okay. If peacocks do not lay eggs, how are baby peacocks born? Is it live birth, in labs? They are both from an older peacock's ashes. Peahens have them. Right, the clues in the question straight away. Peacock is the male. A peahen is the female, and that's the answer without a shadow of doubt. So that one there is the answer. Hope you all got that at home. How you doing? Good so far? Let's continue. Right, we'll have a look at the next one. Okay. How can a man go 9 days without sleep? Is it magic, surgery, by sleeping during the night? It's impossible. Right. Well, process of elimination, I think. Obviously, it's not magic. Surgery, nah. It's impossible. No, it's not impossible. The answer again is in the question. How can a man go 9 days without sleep? So the clue there is days, by sleeping during the night. So the answer has got to be that one. There we are. Did everyone get that right? I hope so. Everyone playing along at home? Okay. Next question. All right. Do they celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK? Well, the only thing that is remotely connected to the UK is Black Friday, but that's not the same thing. No, and the answer is no. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK. At least not that I'm aware of. I've never ever seen it. If you have ever seen Thanksgiving, I mean, you could argue now that I suppose there is a counter argument if you are originally from the US and you've moved to the UK, then I guess you could argue against that, couldn't you? But if you just if it's general, if you have to give one answer, then generally the answer would be no. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK unless you actually are from America and you've moved here. But I'm still going to put no. But you could argue against that, couldn't you? Oh, next question. Oh, this is an interesting one. Okay. Are low-fat foods usually better for you than the regular foods? Well, basic knowledge, dietary knowledge tells me that little and often for most things. So the answer is no, because they're full of chemicals as well. You have to have certain fats in the body to survive. The body cannot survive without fat. So the answer to that, for me, is no. That's correct. How's everyone doing? You still good? Still on track? Let's keep going. Okay, interesting. Which of these colours is warm? Blue, black, purple or red? So again, what do you associate with? Well, blue I associate with something that's cold, so it's not that. Black I would associate with... What would I associate black with? Space, really. Black's sort of nothing. Purple, no. Red, I would go with red because when I think of red, I think of hot things like orange. So I'm going to go for red, and it's correct. Okay. Hope you're still playing along. You enjoying this? Let's carry on. Next question. Okay. So, this is a good one. Which is heavier, 100 pounds of steel or 100 pounds of feathers? Now, about 10 years ago, when I first saw this question, it did trick me as well. Because it's psychological. I was thinking feathers. The first thing that comes into a lot of people's head is feathers are soft. Therefore, would they be lighter? It's psychological, isn't it? So 100 pounds of anything put against 100 pounds of anything else, it's still 100 pounds, isn't it? So they weigh the same. It can't be. It's nothing else. It clues in the question, isn't it? So they weigh the same, and the answer is obviously yes. Did any of you get when you first saw that question? Not this time, but at any time in your life, did you get tricked by it and thinking, well, feathers, are feathers lighter? Obviously now we know that it's not, but it's a good psychological question, that one. Anyway, back to it. Okay, next one. What do they call eggplants in the UK? Eggplants, right. Food is not my best subject. I know that for fact. Food and drink, especially when I'm playing something like Trivial Pursuit. But I do know that aubergines are what they're called in the UK. Not courgettes. Courgettes, I believe, are potato. And whiffles, I've never heard of. But that's just a red herring, I think. No, I'm almost sure it's aubergines, so I'm going to go quickly for aubergines before I change my mind. Hey, that's right. Yeah, like I said, food and drink, my worst subject. If I have a worst subject, it's food and drink. Okay, let's continue. Hope you're playing along at home. This is a good one. So, what is the main language spoken in India? Right, that's a process of elimination. It can't be Sanskrit because that's Egyptian. Urdu. No, not many people speak that anymore. English. Yes, English. You could argue that when the English were over in India, they during I think it was the Boer War, they did teach how to speak English to them. That's why a lot of Indians speak English very well, because they were taught. But that's not the answer. The answer is Hindi. Is the one spoken in India. I do know that. So, there we go. It says there, top 5 spoken languages in India are Hindi, English, Bengali, and those two, Telugu and Marathi, I think that is. So there we go. So, and Hindi is the first language, as you can see there. So that was a tricky one. I hope you all got that right at home. Let's carry on. Okay. Right. Lake Geneva is in which state? Lake Geneva is in which state? Now I would right. This is a scientific question, but it's very. If you look at the word Lake Geneva is in which state? Think of it in that term. Which state? So solid, liquid, or gas? Okay. A lot of people would say Geneva, Switzerland. Yeah, but think of it as solid, liquid or gas, like that. Lake Geneva is in which state? So it's a lake, therefore it is liquid. Has to be. Yay! Right. Okay. Next one is, which US city has a French... Ooh. Oh, hi Juliana. So, which US city has a French heritage? Is it Boise, Savannah, New York City, or New Orleans? Or, from my knowledge of the US, we can eliminate New York City and Boise and Savannah. The New Orleans is part of what I call the French Quarter. I just happen to know that because it also, if you go there, that's one of the main languages they speak. So it's New Orleans, the answer. And it says at the bottom there, it was initially part of large North American French territory. There we are, the French Quarter. Okay. Just in case you're wondering, all those little things you see at the top of the screen, they're some of my subscribers leaving comments and just saying hi, which is really nice, really nice. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so next one. Which two continents are basically one continent? Okay, this is where your geography comes into it. You've got Europe and Asia, Asia and Australia, North America and South America, Antarctica and Australia. Right, how good's your geography? So Antarctica and Australia are obviously two separate continents. So it's not that. North America and South America, also two separate continents. Asia and Australia, definitely not, because obviously there's a lot of stuff in between those. So no, the answer is Europe and Asia, because if you look on a map, you'll see that Europe and Asia are more or less together. So the answer is Europe and Asia. This is basically how good your geography. Yay! And that just don't start second guessing. It says there Europe and Asia are considered two separate continents, largely for political reasons. If you look on a map, there is no actual separation between them. So there you go. It's official. Everybody having fun? I hope so. Let's carry on. This is it's testing. It's a testing one. This next one. Right. So next one. This is a funny one. If a coconut falls from a tree where the wind is blowing from the east, where will the coconut land? Everybody got it? You should. There's not even a contest there. It's called gravity. What goes up must come down, thanks to a certain Isaac Newton, who sat under the tree and discovered the laws of gravity. It's not to the west, it's not to the east, it's not, it won't, it's on the ground, obviously. It's on the ground. Regardless of the direction the wind is coming from, anything that falls will inevitably hit the ground. There we go. Oh, well, yeah. Obviously, this is of course. This is of course as long as there's nothing in the way. Duh. Hey everyone. So that's what we're going to call half time. So I can give my brain a bit of a rest now. Part 2 of the quiz coming up tomorrow. Look out for that. Have a lovely evening, everyone. See you soon. Well, see you tomorrow.